You don't know who you are anymore. Good. It's okay. Not knowing who you are is going to be the process to which you will actually elevate your self awareness, and you can elevate yourself to a more authentic existence. More than likely, you are trying to think your way out of this. Think and think and think, processing everything as much as possible. Every angle to go, every outcome, every decision you made, trying to make sense of things. Maybe you're even trying to force a particular direction in your life that you have felt that it's a narrative you've lived by and it's something that you want to fulfill, but you're not quite sure what's going on. You're not quite sure, well, you're not really feeling all of you involved. Why isn't it a full energy exercise? Do you feel yourself pursuing a particular direction in life, but it's draining? It just feels tiring and you don't have any energy for it, and yet perhaps you're in shape. Maybe you exercise all the time and maybe you eat clean and sleep well, but yet when it comes to particular things, particular topics of rebuilding your life, trying to figure out who you are, you just feel your energy plummet down to zero. I know this is something that has happened to me, and it happens it happens to everybody, and it happens every once in a while, even if you get out of it. And the question is, why do these things happen? Why is it that when we get into a state of identity loss, we don't know who we are anymore, we're trying to figure out where to go in life, it's going to feel draining and sucking of energy, and no matter what we do, it just feels so defeating. The most common reason that I, for myself, have found, and for the people that I do coaching calls with or my regular clients, when we inhabit the realm of ego and you sit in that and you ruminate in that, that is the place where energy dies. It's not a place to hang out. It's not a place to always just relax in. Because the ego is not the full you. It is part of you, but it is also the filtered you. You filter out all the things that you know you have to deal with, that you know you need to contend with and reflect inward. But instead we push it aside and only bring up the things we want to hear. But even then, some of us get haunted by thoughts. Thoughts that say, this isn't going to work. The direction you go is not going to happen. The naysayer in your mind constantly echoing over and over and over and over again. And often the remedy to that, most people will drink or get high, perhaps indulge in hedonism, maybe with girls or guys, partying, doing anything just to sort of distract the noise so that maybe we can get back to something normal, a normal existence. Maybe that'll help. But it never does it? It never does. And in fact, oftentimes you'll find the noise will get louder and louder and louder. Because beneath the ego, deep in your unconscious realm, exists a plethora of pain, trauma, emotional knots that collect and compound over time when ignored. And if you imagine all these parts of you that are unmet, disowned, rejected, they can eventually create themselves as a bit of a force within you that feels almost against you, makes you think things you don't want to think, makes you feel things you don't want to feel, throws your mood out of whack. You find yourself swinging from one place to the other, happy to sad, ambitious to depressed. And you're thinking, well, what's going on? Why is this happening to me? Something truly frightening, but also hopeful and powerful to really embrace is that space between thought 1 and thought number 2. That, the space right here, right now. What we often do is we'll have a thought. That thought isn't generally a new thought. It always comes from the bottom up. And so when it comes up, it's an old story, narrative, trauma, pain, emotion, regret, repressed thoughts, feelings, sometimes aware to you, sometimes unaware to you. More often than not, they are unaware to us, and it just comes up. And as this comes up, will dictate, guide you, move you to directions you want to go. And that space in between, that space between the thought and the second thought, is going to be the place that, if you can get comfortable hanging out in, will be painful, but at the same time, your answers, everything you need to deal with, the solution to your problems, will be there. It exists there. You just have to listen. You have to listen to what it wants. We always assume and we interpret everything that's happening below our unconscious as evil, an act to regress. And it can be. If you don't contend to it and you leave it alone and have it do its own thing, yes, it can dictate what you do. It can get you to be stuck in a rut and not want to break out of it and to continue ruminating in it. But if you decide, today is the day I begin to listen. This is going to sound like a crazy strategy. And some of you it'll make sense, but some it won't make sense at all. And that's okay, perfectly okay. I want you to practice listening to nothing, but somewhat actively and also passively listen. Listen to nothing. If you listen to nothing, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to get very quiet. And when that silence rolls in, you might feel unsettled. But allow that chaos to sort of move and flow, deep inhales, slow exhales, in order to stay calm in that moment as these things just start to naturally flow. What you're practicing is being comfortable with both halves of you. So you can think all day long, and this is the upper realm, but the quiet realm, the realm that listens to nothing, exists below the surface. And getting comfortable and exercising that practice to listen to what's going on in the unconscious is going to be the ticket to your identity, to who you are truly meant to be. And I'm not even saying this from a self-aggrandizing, you're going to be this rock star singer. I'm not even speaking on that. I'm not talking about professions or accolades, awards. I'm speaking about just living and knowing this is as much of me as I can possibly be right now. What you see is what it is. That's the most we can hope for. And when you can touch that experience, that sense of integration, the ego and the soul, you can feel it, then you can ground it. I just had a call this past weekend with one of my subscribers and newsletter subscribers, and we booked a call together. It was a wonderful conversation. I just wish it went longer. And the one thing that we ended the call with was talking about when you integrate ego and soul, grounding that experience, building memories within that experience is going to allow us so that when you feel that separation again, where you start to go back up and inhabit the realm of ego, you're going to feel it. You're going to be aware of it. And then you can actually make steps and action to bring yourself back to that integration state. But you have to get there first. And to get there first requires listening to that silence, listening to the voice that is going to tell you what's wrong. You inside will tell you what's wrong and how to deal with it. That's why it's very difficult to give steps and strategy to these types of things. I have a method, I have something I run through with people that I work with, but it's very contextual and it has to be to the individual story, the way they live, the way they think. It's very custom to the person. But thankfully, if you listen carefully, listen hard enough from within, you can hear it. And it will present you answers. And it may not be the answers you want to hear, and it more than likely will not be the answers you want to hear. But it's the answers that are going to give you your ticket out. If you want to go deeper with this work and you want to work with it with me personally, click that button below. It'll send you over to my page. Book a time and a date. That way we can meet together and share space. Guide you through this identity loss. Guide you through towards ego-soul integration and the peace that it can bring into your inner life. It's a truly beautiful place to be. And my only desire, my only wish to fulfill, I feel to me divine purpose to fulfill, is to give that to you. But if you're not ready for a phone call just yet, that's absolutely fine. Click the second button below, sign up to my newsletter, and I'll send you monthly newsletters on everything regarding identity loss, archetypal energy, shadow work, integration, everything you're going to need to get you to do this at your own pace. And of course, I'll send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide upon signing up to my newsletter. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video.